One. Hello, how you doing? My name is Daniel, and today we are going over on how to properly measure and cut ductboard using our two tools, our V-Groove red tool and our end cut blue tool. A few other things you might need is a ductboard knife, a tape measure, and a square. Right. I like to use a pen and paper just to write my measurements down because we are also going to be using a small formula so we can figure out where our center cut is. So today we are going to cut a 10x5 board. The formula we are using is on our first measurement we will have to add 2 inches. On our second measurement we'll add 2 5/8, and on our third will be 2 5/8, and our last cut is going to be 2 3/4. Now what I like to do is figure out what size ductboard you are cutting out and go ahead and do your formula, and that way you can use your tape measure, make your lines, and then go ahead and cut your ductboard. So I'm going to go over on how to do the formula. So we're doing a 10x5. Our first cut is going to be 10 plus 2 inches, which would be 12 inches. Our second cut will be 5 and then 2 5/8, so that would be 7 5/8, and then again we're gonna add 2 5/8 to our 10, would be 12 5/8, and then we'll add 2 3/4 to our last measurement, our last cut, which will be 7 3/4. All right. From there, now we know where to use our tape measure and make our lines at. So we go ahead and we'll measure out our 12 inches, which I already have marked off on my ductboard, but I'm just going to demonstrate on how we would do this. So our first would be 12 inches. You're gonna make a small little line, and then we'll use our square to make a nice straight line, and you would do that for every measurement. All right, so just to go back, our first measurement is 12 inches. Our second measurement will be 7 5/8. Our third will be 12 5/8, and then our last will be 7 3/4. All right. So now that I have my lines already marked off, now we're going to use our first tool, which is our V-Groove red tool, and we're going to use our square to make sure we get a nice straight line. Let me just clear my work area off. Now what you want to do when you're using this tool is there is a center line on the tool, and we're going to use that line and go straight down the line that we drew on our ductboard, and make sure you use your square to get a nice straight cut. And another thing too is when you're using this tool, the proper way to hold the tool is to grasp it across the entire tool itself, not just by the handle. That way you get a nice even cut. All right. So now I'm gonna get my center line and my line lined up, and with some nice even pressure, just cut through. One thing you do want to keep in mind is you want to keep your sleds facing forward. All right. So I made that mistake, but I caught it. Just make sure these sleds right here is facing forward. And I just want to go straight through. Onto our next line. Make sure our square is level. Want to make sure that line lines up with this line, our center groove. Nice even pressure all the way through. There's our third cut. rest. This is going to be our last cut, so we do want to use our end cutting tool when we make this cut. Now with that blue cutting tool, what it does, it makes 3 cuts, and we're going to use that because it's going to create a flap that will help close our box. So you're going to see 3 lines. This last cut right here we will not need, so we go ahead and remove that. Go ahead and remove these inserts, and you might have to trim this last little piece right here. This will be our flap that we use to close our box to get a nice flat finish. So just take your duct board knife and kind of just like the filleting a fish. You can make a small little groove. Just be careful not to apply too much pressure because you don't want to cut the other side. And remove that. Remove all our inserts. And then from here, we can close it up. And then you can see how that last tool, how it makes this little lip right here. So we get a nice, so when you close it, it gets a nice snug fit. Alright, and now I'm going to get this all taped up, and then I'm going to show you exactly how it will look with our end product. So when you finish taping it all up, this is what you want to look for on the inside of your box. Make sure that you have a nice snug fit in the corners. And this is how it will look after you get it all taped up. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Daniel, and have a nice day.